This is not Bob Staunton, genius broadcaster and throat-clearing phlegm spitter. Are you intelligent? If not, then subscribe and like the Tommy Boyds Shrine YouTube channel. The following hour talks about hotels. It's been a long time since I had a dirty weekend. I sometimes forget to check in with a false name and say Bob Staunton, when I mean to say John Staunton.
We've been expecting you, Mr. Boyd.
His is the worst voice you will ever hear.
Will he offer me his tea?
The Tommy Boyds Show will teach you nothing. Nothing.
Always read the label.
Nothing but iniquity and wickedness.
If you really bug me, then I'll say goodbye.
You don't hear the word permissive society very often these days, do you? You know, one of the problems with this permissive society, because we are a permissive society, well, compared to 20 years ago, and then again, 20 years from now will seem permissive to what we are able to enjoy now. But one of the beefs I have about the permissive society is that it's robbed us of an awful lot of fun. A lot of fun. Because we can now do things that used to be considered slightly dodgy, but we do them anyway, and we get away with them. So you had, besides the joy of doing whatever it was you were doing, and that would have been fun, otherwise you wouldn't have done it, you had the additional pleasure of getting away with something. The number's free call, 0500 10 53 89. Have you ever checked into a hotel and booked a double room and pretended you were a Mr. and Mrs., even though you weren't? Of course you have. Now, didn't it used to be great? But these days, I should imagine it's practically de rigueur, isn't it? Free call 0500 10 53 89. Of course, you may recently have stayed in a hotel, probably somewhere like the wilds of Wales, it has to be said, or the Highlands or the Lowlands, or at least somewhere ultra-provincial rural, and got disapproving looks from the people who own or run the hotel because you feel they suspect and also they disapprove. So it might still be going on. There may still be hotels in Britain where the people who run it believe that you ought to be married if you're going to have a double room. I can't believe it entirely until I hear it from the horse's mouth. So if you are that horse, free call 0500 10 53 89. But don't you agree with me that we would have a lot more fun if it was actually against the law to book a double unless you're married, against the law to go on holiday, package or otherwise, domestic or foreign, and act like a Mr. and Mrs. unless you are a Mr. and Mrs. Free call 0500 10 53 89. Do you remember the Fawlty Tower episode about that? The young couple arrive at the hotel, they book in casually as a Mr. and Mrs. Smith or whatever, but she sees that there's a message waiting for her, so she says, I think it's for me, and Basil gets the message down from the message box and says, oh no, it can't be, this is for a Miss Smith. And she says, yes, that's me. And Basil won't give her the message. He says, I see. Right. What's going on? And a conversation ensues. And in the end, Basil denies them a double room. This was only 1970 what? Late 70s. Fawlty Towers was made. And in those days, it was therefore clearly perfectly possible that a hotel could say to you, no, you can't have a double room unless you're actually married. I believe Basil's final rejoinder was, it's nothing to do with me. It's the law. I think it should be the law. It would make life a lot more fun, wouldn't it, for couples who were going to have, you know, a fun weekend in Brighton. If you had to be married, stay there. It would just add to the naughtiness of the whole thing. And naughtiness and liaison go hand in hand, don't they? No, I think it should be against the law to book a double unless you're married. And whilst we're on the subject, did you ever ask your parents whether your girlfriend or boyfriend could spend the weekend? And if so, what happened? I mean, did you have a long conversation about whether your boyfriend or girlfriend was going to sleep in the spare room or whether they were going to sleep in the same room as you? And if you did get to sleep in the same room as your fiancé, I think you often say, it's my fiancé, can my fiancé come back for the weekend? Well, did your parents give you any oblique hints or clues about your behaviour in the privacy of your own room with your boyfriend, girlfriend, whilst you were, I'm sure they used this phrase, under their roof? Free call 0500 10 53 89. I think we'd have a lot more fun with our naughty weekends if it was against the law to book a double unless you're married. I'm Tommy Boyd. This is Talk Radio. There's a good argument for listening.
This is Talk Radio, the nation's interactive station. Recall 0500 1053 89 now.
Of course, you might be one of those folk who think that you shouldn't be allowed to go to bed at all unless you're married. Free call 0500 1053 89. Denise calls from Kent. You're on Talk Radio, Denise. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. How's it going?
Good. You?
Fine, thank you. Yes, let me tell you my story. A gentleman and myself met. We got on fine. We had nowhere to go. We decided that with his affluent job and he had enough money, we would go to a hotel. So we went in his flash car, we went to a hotel, and we were frowned upon. Right from the start, we walked in. I wasn't wearing any jewellery. The gentleman had a gold ring on his right little finger. So it looked from the off that we weren't married. Even the way we were dressed. I mean, I had a Mohican. He was very smartly dressed. We weren't married, you know. But he said, no, we're going to put it down as Mr. and Mrs. Jones. I said, don't you think that's a bit old-fashioned? He said, no, I'm going to do it anyway. So we went to the counter. He said, I'd like to book a room for the night. And from there, instead of the lady coming across and serving us, we saw there was two receptionists, a man and a female. And the male came over. They looked at each other and the male came over as if to say there's going to be trouble here. So I said, I'd like to book a double room for the night, Mr. and Mrs. Jones. So he said, do you have any, what do you call it, paperwork, you know?
Identification.
Thank you, ID. Do you have any ID to prove your marriage?
This is amazing. Just hang on a second. When was this? How long ago?
Oh, this is 89.
89?
Yeah, 89.
Whereabouts was this?
This is in the countryside. This is
Okay.
just North Kent.
And we're talking about a bog-standard hotel here?
Yeah, we're talking about a nice little hotel.
Nice little hotel?
Yeah, nice little hotel that Grandma and Granddad might go to.
Okay.
You know?
And you got the distinct impression that because it looked as though you weren't married, they were on your case?
Oh, for real. Yeah. Anyway, one thing and another, my man had an argument with the receptionist.
Yeah.
And he just wouldn't give us the room. He said, no, without any ID, you're not having a room here. You have to be, if you want a double room, you have to have your marriage certificate with you. He said he didn't go around carrying that kind of information with him. He kept it indoors, locked up with all the other information. Anyway, one thing and another, we went to another hotel, we got a room straight away, and it was half the price.
In and out.
Yeah, in and out in 2 hours.
Like that. Isn't it amazing?
It is, it's shocking.
Isn't it? Because, can I say this?
Go on.
You don't suppose
what?
That the people who ran that hotel thought that perhaps you were
on the game?
Professional.
Oh, yeah, for real.
Really?
For real, yeah.
Were you?
Yeah. Was I?
Yeah.
No, I wasn't.
I'm only asking.
This was a gentleman friend. No,
Well,
this was a gentleman friend, and no. We'd had an ongoing relationship for a couple of years.
Ongoing.
But it's usually been like in the woods, in the car, or that sort of business. And I just got fed up of getting the dirty bum, you know. No. Wasn't on the game.
Right. Now, you see, wouldn't it have been more fun?
If it had been illegal?
No, to have pretended, to have gone for real as though you were a husband and wife.
Yeah.
What were the telltale signs that showed that you weren't a husband and wife?
The lack of wedding ring.
No. I don't know. No.
How do you mean?
No. Married couples, you don't spot a couple who's married by looking at their fingers for the ring.
Right.
You don't spot a couple who's married by thinking, oh, well, he's of a certain background and she's got a Mohican, they can't be married. Because it happens.
Yeah, it does happen, yeah.
Married couples turn up at hotels not looking as though they're about to have the time of their lives.
That's true,
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, get it. That's where we went wrong.
If you'd acted bored and indifferent with him,
yeah.
and if you'd wandered away whilst he was checking in instead of hanging onto his arm, like I bet you were.
I wasn't actually, no.
Oh, whatever,
no.
you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know what you're saying, though, yeah.
Yeah. Denise, thank you for your call.
No problem.
Are you still seeing the gentleman?
No, I see him very rarely now, actually, very rarely. He's gone off and got married and got children and got one of those warehouse places over East London.
As you do.
As they do.
But it was good while it lasted.
Yeah, it was fantastic. Right. And if he's listening, good on him.
Thanks for your call. Free call 0500 10 53 89. People watching is, the only hobby, really. Even if you think you like football or whatever, going to the cinema, it's still all about watching people. You can spot a married couple. You can almost spot the moment or the weekend at which, and this is appropriate with a wireless wedding tomorrow, you can almost spot the weekend over which a couple who are deeply in love then become a married couple. Because something about the way they are together changes, doesn't it? In many ways for the better, he said, just to cover his backside. But also, in many ways, not for the better. You kind of stop trying, don't you? I think that's how hotel staff... Do you work in a hotel? Free call 0500 10 53 89. Can you spot the married couple straight away? Can you spot the couple who are going to have an enjoyable weekend? And yes, they do fall into two entirely different categories, don't they? Lovely cup of coffee. Andy calls from Southport. You're on Talk Radio. Andy, good afternoon.
Hi, all right, Tommy.
Andy.
I own a hotel in Southport here.
Fantastic.
And I'll tell you something, Tommy. These people aren't all cracked up to be, okay? You get gays and lesbians come in and they book into a twin room. And when you go in the morning, to clean the room, there's only one bed slept in.
Yes.
That's what they do.
Yes.
Because these gays and lesbians are everywhere now. They are everywhere.
Yeah, well, there's no
they're
argument.
Very devious,
Yeah, okay, all right, okay. But you've got your obsession, you've got a drum to beat, so get on with it then.
Aye, they're no good, Tommy.
What's your hotel called then? What's your hotel called?
I'm not saying it's a Southbourne, Tommy.
Yes.
It's called the Southbourne, Tommy.
Yes, it isn't, is it? We've got your number straight away. You're a homophobe, aren't you?
I am, Tommy. I don't like them.
No, you
don't get babies from them. Do you know what I mean? That guy who was on yesterday.
Well, who
was
wants babies? Who needs babies?
Tommy,
what do you want? What do you want so many babies for? You don't think there are enough people on planet Earth?
Tommy, the human race needs babies to keep us going.
Keep us going. We've got too many people, man. They're dying of starvation because there are too many people in other parts of the world besides Southport.
Tommy, if you shot all the gays and lesbians, there wouldn't be too many people at all. Because that's the best way to do it.
Yeah, but your argument was that they don't make babies and therefore we don't need them. But maybe we need people who don't make babies because we've got enough babies.
Not if you get rid of the gays and lesbians, Tommy, you wouldn't have too many.
No, sorry, let's have a conversation here. I'm rejoining to a point that you made. Now you have to react to the point that I've made. That's how conversation works, sir.
Aye, all right,
yes?
Tommy.
So your point was that they don't make babies and therefore we don't need them. But maybe we do need them because they don't make babies.
No, Tommy, because there's always going to be babies in the world, from the normal people.
Yes, and you have to now defend this point, that there are already too many people. We need fewer people.
Tommy, no, I tell you where you need fewer people in these third world countries because they can't look after themselves. Over here we can.
Okay, so your argument then would be, ergo, and this is your argument, you have constructed this argument, we need more gay people in the third world.
Aye, that's right, to get rid of them all, eradicate them.
Right, fair enough.
That's what I think. But anyway, Tommy, coming back on to the point, okay, these hotels, when they come into the hotels with
No, leave the hotel thing out of it because you don't own a hotel. You're a liar.
I am not.
Yes, you are.
I'm not, and I can prove it.
Take me to court, then.
Here?
Take me to court. You are a liar.
Do you want a free weekend at my hotel, Tommy?
You are a liar. You don't own a hotel.
About life,
You've
Tommy.
climbed on board this conversation in order to air your prejudice by pretending that you've got a hotel, and that's sad. That's tragic.
No, Tommy.
Yes, it is.
You've hijacked my hotel.
You have
I'll give you the
hijacked
honeymoon suite if you want, because I know you're married.
A powerful and important contribution to the panorama of news and current affairs debate with your prejudice by lying.
No, Tommy, I'm not lying to you.
And I'm very disappointed in you.
I'm offering you a free weekend. Do you want it or not?
Certainly not.
Why not? Are you scared of what you'll find there?
No, it's just that I can't be bothered to come to Southport in order to
Tommy,
entertain you.
You're full of excuses, Tommy. You never ever take anybody up on their offers because you know you live in that little comfortable place in London.
It's a lousy
just
offer.
outside London.
And I don't live in London.
Well, just outside of it then,
You
all right?
live in a dream world.
And I know that you're too scared to come up to my hotel up here in Southport and take me up on my offer to show you what really goes on in these hotels, Tommy.
Do you think I haven't got anything better to do at the weekend?
I live in hotels,
Can
Tommy.
you stop
I have to live in
interrupting
my
me?
hotel.
Do you think I've got nothing better to do at the weekend, all right, than to have my horizons trimmed by your company?
Tommy, I broaden your horizons. You wouldn't be trimming them. They'd be getting broadened all the way round.
Tell me something I don't know, then.
I'll tell you something you don't know, Tommy. You know these toys you find in these shops that, you know, on the 18 and over are allowed to go into? You know the ones I'm talking about, yeah? Well, I'll tell you something about them, Tommy. They leave them behind for my mates to go in and find. And that's no good.
Well, if you'd like to take Andy up on his offer as a free weekend in Southport, free call 05... No. We're discussing the whole business of marriage. Perhaps you agree with me that it would be a good idea for it to be against the law to book a double in a hotel unless you're married. Or maybe you want to take the whole thing a stage further. There are still people who believe that you should not be allowed to go to bed with your loved one until you have stood in front of a man of God and pledged your troth. Free call 0500 10 53 89.
Talk to Tommy Boyds. Free call 0500 10 53 89. 0500 10 53 89.
Jamie calls from Portsmouth. You're on Talk Radio, Jamie. Hello.
Hello.
Jamie.
All right.
Sir.
I'm a bit nervous, actually. Never spoke on the radio before.
Well, take your time.
Right, well, when I was in the Navy, and I met a girl in Portsmouth, I took her home to Salisbury, and my mum was pretty old-fashioned, so I introduced my girlfriend the first time. My mum said, well, you realise you have to go in separate rooms. I said, yeah. And she said, well, you know, separate rooms. I said, no, Mum, we live together in Portsmouth. She said, no, not, why are you under my roof, real old-fashioned? I said, no. I said, that's a bit like shutting the stable door after the horse is bolted. Oh, and I sort of slipped up because that's me telling my mum that my wife was pregnant.
Oh, I see. Did she get the hint?
Slightly, yeah, well upset.
Yeah, but she did understand what you meant there.
Oh, definitely.
You said wife, you meant girlfriend.
Oh, it was my girlfriend then.
Oh, right.
Now it's my wife.
Yes, understood. What ages were you?
I was 18, she was 19.
It's tricky, isn't it? You know that children find it difficult to imagine their parents. You know. Don't you?
How come? Who's this?
No, we do. We all people find it difficult to imagine their parents.
Yeah.
Don't we?
Yeah.
Do you?
Yeah, they're dead.
No, I don't mean to imagine... No. No, I mean we find it difficult to imagine our parents, you know...
Getting into it?
Yes. You know, don't we? I can't even say it because it involves the image of my parents, you know. We can't, can we?
I don't know.
You see, your parents must have done it, mustn't they?
At one point.
Otherwise...
But then again, I don't look nothing like my brother, so there's no guarantee that was my dad.
So you're trying so hard to reject the image of your parents making love, but you're even prepared to entertain the idea that maybe you're not your dad's son.
I find it surprising, because I reckon my old man could have gone something like, but my mum was really, really prudish.
Yeah. So whilst you can imagine them possibly making love for medical purposes, in other words, to reproduce, you can't imagine them enjoying it, can you?
No, I don't know. I've never thought my mum's face smiling like that, to be honest.
But your mum must have enjoyed...
She could have been a right old dirty, actually.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not going to tell my kids everything I did when I was young.
No. Well, at the moment, we're in fairly standard conversational territory, because I think it's agreed that none of us can imagine our parents, you know, enjoying a sex life.
No.
We can't. We don't want to. Right?
No, I suppose it'd be different if, say, your parents weren't that much older than you. And,
maybe.
like, say, kids about 20, and parents about 40.
I don't know, and I don't know what the reason for it is, but I am convinced that it is a universal of human nature, probably right around planet Earth.
I suppose it's hard, you don't even think about your parents bagging off out of watch, going off with other women either. or other men.
Did your dad do that?
No.
Did your mum do that?
No.
As far as you know.
Well, they're dead.
I know, but as far as you know, still.
Yeah.
It's worth saying.
My brother keeps telling me that my mum used to go out and watch. That's why I don't look like him.
Your brother used to tell you that your mum used
to go out and watch.
Used to see other men.
Yeah.
Did he used to do that? Is he older or younger?
He's my elder brother, nasty, horrible brother.
What a skunk.
I know.
Don't you get skunks for elder brothers every time?
The thing is, he's short and fat, and so are all the other blokes in my family.
Yeah.
And I'm not fat.
No.
I'm not short.
No. Would you like to be born out of wedlock? 0500 10 53 89. Andy calls from Luton.
Hi, Tommy.
Andy, you're on Talk Radio. Welcome.
Hi. I don't see how you can defend your argument after having that that so-called hotel keeper in Scotland, was it? With his bigoted views. I mean, it's only inhibition that causes people to be jealous and have to know what people are doing in their bedrooms. What's it got to do with anybody?
What's it got to do with anybody?
Yeah, I mean, if you go to a hotel room with a young lady and you book a room, what's it got to do with that hotel keeper? If he doesn't like that sort of thing, then he should put a notice up there.
You don't spend much time in hotels, do you?
No, I don't go to hotels.
Well,
no.
then clear off, because I do, and I know what I'm talking about, and you know what's going on in the room next to you.
Yeah, well, what are you jealous because they're making love?
No, I'm tired because I'm awake at 2:30 in the morning, going, oi, and ringing the reception and saying, could you please send somebody up, because room 318 are at it again, and I can't sleep, and I'm serious.
How them being at it, can it keep you... How does it keep you awake?
All right, you've never stayed in a hotel. Have you ever made love?
Yeah, of course I have.
And you do it silently?
Sometimes.
Why?
Well, sometimes you do it silently, sometimes you make a lot of noise.
How can you make love silently?
Of course you can.
You can't. It's like casual sex. There's no such thing. There's nothing less casual on planet Earth.
You don't have to be making loads of noise. Why, do you have to be whooping it up all the time?
Well, if you're enjoying yourself, yes, actually.
No, not all the time.
And in any case, there's something so ostentatious and theatrical about people in a hotel who are having a one-night stand. They don't just want the room next door to know about it. They want people in the next street to know about it.
But surely you don't go to hotels with your family where there's all people around you making love in one-night stands,
If I am prepared to shore up the values of this society by remaining faithful to my wife, I don't see why people should sit across in the dining room from me, flaunting the fact that they are not, and enjoying it and rubbing my nose in it.
Well, you're jealous then. That's all there is to it. You're just jealous.
Yes,
and you're inhibited about sex. So you want people to feel guilty when they're enjoying themselves.
I'm not inhibited about sex.
You must be to make other people feel guilty about enjoying sex.
Well, I'm not inhibited about sex at all. I just don't want to hear other people doing it when all they're trying to do is let everybody know that that's what they're up to, mister.
So you're saying every hotel you go to, there's dozens of people making loads of noise, and there's no hotels where you can go and get a peaceful night's sleep. Is that what you're saying?
I'm not saying that, because if I said that, I'd lose the argument, and I don't do that.
No, of course you don't.
No, that's a stupid thing to say that I'm saying, isn't it?
No, because you're trying to generalise and say that in every hotel lobby there's people dying to get into their bedroom.
No, all I'm saying is that when I go into a hotel, I can tell who's there on a one-night stand and who's there with their lovely husband and wife, okay?
Yeah, and it doesn't affect you if someone's there on a one-night stand, does it?
Yes, it does.
How?
Well, because they are the maggots in the zombie of modern society.
How are they? What kind of a thing to say is that, Tommy? Because someone wants... It's not illegal.
Rich image, actually,
It's not illegal for two adults to have sex, is it?
No, and this is my point, and this is why you call this programme. I didn't call you. You called me, because I'm saying it should be against the law to book a double unless you're married.
Well, how can you justify that when it is not illegal to have sex between two adults?
Because it would make having a one-night stand more fun.
How would it make it more fun? With some Basil Fawlty character trying to interfere every 5 minutes?
Look, we all like to get away with something, don't we? Have you ever never double-parked?
I've done lots of things that I like to get away with and thought very clever, but if I'm a sort of older man now, if I go to a hotel and want to have sex with a woman that isn't my wife, I don't want all that hustle. I just want to go into the room and have sex.
Yes.
I don't want him saying to me, are you married or...
Quietly.
What do you mean quiet?
You said quietly.
I said it is possible to make love quietly.
I don't believe you.
Why don't you believe me?
I simply don't believe it's possible to make love.
It is possible.
And somebody else listening through one sheet of plasterboard wouldn't be able to tell what was going on.
Listen, I've stayed in places where people can hear whatever you do at night.
Yeah, I know.
And sometimes you've had to be quiet.
Yes.
Otherwise you don't have it. Otherwise it can cause an embarrassing situation.
Yes.
Right, so you use a bit of quietness, to put a better word for it.
Andy, use it more often. Free call 0500 10 53 89. I'm Tommy Boyd. This is Talk Radio. There's a good argument for listening.
The conversation of the nation. Free call 0500 10 53 89 now.
Morning, we're talking about hotels and the business of checking into a hotel unless you're actually married. It's not against the law, there's nothing they can do about it, but we do feel a little bit cautious when it's happening to us. And in actual fact, even if you are married, sometimes you're at great pains to look married just so that nobody disapproves of you. Maybe it should be against the law to book a double unless you're married. It would protect those people who have taken the trouble to actually get married, wouldn't it? And it might make it even more fun for the people who are pretending to be married. Mr. Smith calls. From Chingford. You're on Talk Radio, Mr. Smith.
Hello, Tommy.
Good morning.
Afternoon.
Sir.
A story going back to about 1965. My wife now, we were courting about 19, went to Jersey, and we stayed in this hotel for a week. And after a week, we decided to stay another week. And the lady said, well, I'm afraid we haven't got a room, but a friend of mine who's got a boarding house up the road, she might be able to put you up. So we said, right. So she took us along, met this lady. She sat us down, gave us a cup of tea. So we were sitting there looking at one another. She said, I won't be long. And she disappeared for about half an hour or so. Anyway, she came back all red-faced and out of breath, and she said, good. She said, I've just been to see the vicar, and I've also seen the local councillor. He was out at the time, but she had to hang on. And yes, she said, you can stay. She knew we weren't married, but she had to go and make sure, you know. And
it's a scorcher. She went to check with the vicar if it was all right in God's eyes.
Yeah.
For you to have a room in the boarding house.
That's right. And what happened, every morning we got up and went out, there was 2 bunk beds, two single beds, I should say, in the room.
Yes. And
either side of the beds, there was a little table, like a little night table thing. And it was all right for 2 days. As you can imagine, we used to push the beds together. And we came back one day, and one of these little cupboards was planted between the 2 beds. Anyway, we moved it, and we pushed the beds back together. The second day, it was the same again. Anyway, it went on to nearly the end of the week, and when we came back, she'd actually put the 2 cupboards between the 2 beds. So, but when we left, she said, goodbye, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, and that was it.
And you lived happily ever after?
Oh, 33 years on, yeah, 33 years on.
I know your name's Jim. That's a good story, Jim. Thank you.
All right.
Good man. Call us again sometime.
Will do.
Thank you for that.
Bye-bye.
Check with the vicar. Nat Corker. Justin calls now from Middlesex. You're on Talk Radio. Justin, good afternoon.
All right there, Tommy.
Justin.
I just want to say straight off the bat, I'm driving down the road listening to what you've got to say. It is 100% and 110% nonsense, mate. Absolute nonsense, right? I've been going out with a girl 2.5 years now. We've been going out steady. We're having a sexual relationship. If we decide to go on holiday and have a double bedroom, what is going to stop us? I mean, we both respect each other. We both make love to each other. That's what we want. That's what we're going to have. So what's to stop us from doing that?
Well, it's somebody else's place, and you're being deceitful.
How are we being deceitful?
Well, because
we don't put down Mr. and Mrs. Remick when we go in there.
Excuse me, you're being deceitful because you're acting like a married couple.
We're not acting like a married couple.
Yes, you are. You're acting as though you're married. You're acting as though you are a married couple.
If you put it like that, then we may as well be married. I mean, we see each other every night. We're almost living together.
Okay.
We might as well be married, but we're not because, well, what's the point of getting married when we're not ready for that sort of commitment yet?
Well, the commitment that you've already got. Wait a minute. You're not ready for the commitment you've already got.
Yeah, but we've already got a commitment together.
Yeah.
We committed to each other, but not as much as in the sense of marriage, because we believe that when we're ready to get married, we will get married, but we're just not ready for that commitment yet, because it's too much strain for a young couple for our age. Like, otherwise we're just gonna it could die because we've been pushed together too soon. Whereas if we take it the way we're going, we're happy in what we're doing. Nobody else sees a problem with it, not our parents. I mean, they're happy with us to be together. So why should somebody pass a law that says, oh, we got to be married to stay in a double room? I mean, what sense does that make?
Well, obviously you sleep together when you go to your parents' house and her parents' house.
Yeah.
Yeah, which you do.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Nobody has any problems with that.
Okay. I mean, fair enough we don't talk about it openly, but they obviously know what's going on.
Oh, wait a minute, back up. What do you mean you don't...
Well, actually, they do know now. They've just
why don't they talk about it? Why don't they talk about it openly?
Well, it's just not a dumb thing. Well, you go around to your mum-in-laws, dear,
you can choose
and discuss your sex life with her and say, oh, yeah, we had a great one last night.
Yeah, why not? Why not?
What?
Why not?
It's not the dumb thing, is it?
Do your
it's not the dumb thing. Do you about with their sex life?
No.
Exactly.
Excuse me.
No, keep it among yourselves, don't you?
Excuse me, back up. This is my point. You can't have it.
What do you mean?
My point is that certain things are private.
Yeah, when you talk about it, I mean, fair enough, when you go into a hotel room, what do? You shut the door, don't you?
Yes.
I mean, fair enough, if you're having a one-night stand, you've got the door open, you've got the whole, or doing it in the lobby, that's a different story.
Marriage is a commitment.
When you go into a double room, you know what you're going to be doing, and you shut the door, and you shut yourselves out from the rest of the world. The rest of the world ain't watching you. Well, hopefully not, anyways.
No, but we know what you're doing.
Yeah, I mean, well, no, you don't actually know for a fact. We could be sleeping or we could be making love. You don't know for a fact what we're doing.
Yes, we
could
do.
be watching Neighbours on the telly.
I doubt it.
How do you know, though?
Well,
how do you know for a fact that we're not watching Neighbours on the telly?
Well, because you're not, are you? Otherwise you wouldn't be on the phone now on this subject, because if we were talking about Neighbours, you might ring, but we're talking about sex.
Yeah, but you don't know for a fact if we're having a sexual intercourse in that room,
well,
or
you
if
should
we're
be.
just sitting there listening to your radio show. Whatever we might be doing in that room has got nothing to do with the hotel proprietor.
People don't book up... excuse me. People don't book a hotel room together because they want to share watching Neighbours.
Yeah, so you're saying a couple of 80 might go into a double room, and you're going to be saying, oh, yeah, we know what they're up to, don't we, love? You know what I mean? The poor little thing the poor old granny might be knitting, and the old man might be sitting there watching the telly. You don't know, you can't say every couple that goes into a room is going to be having sex.
Free call 0500 10 53 89. I'm Tommy Boyds.
Tommy Boyds. Free call 0500 10 53 89.
Tomorrow we're celebrating Talk Radio's wireless wedding. Sue Backhouse and John Barry will become the first couple ever to be married live on national commercial radio. And it's all happening in the wonderful hour. I'll be joined by Tara Newley, and from 2 o'clock we'll be live at the romantic 900-year-old Amberley Castle in Sussex, talking to everyone involved in making Sue and John's wireless wedding a very special occasion. Our photographer is Rob Young from Wokingham, who regularly photographs society weddings at locations such as Westminster Cathedral. Sharp are providing the latest lightweight ViewCam video recorder for Sue and John, and our partners Bella Magazine will be covering all the celebrations. So have your confetti ready and join us tomorrow for the biggest event of the year, Talk Radio's wireless wedding. Steve calls from Ilford. You're on Talk Radio, Steve. Good afternoon.
Hi there.
Steve.
Your argument just isn't going to work.
No?
Because...
What?
Well, I'm married, so you wouldn't stop me booking a room with my lovely wife.
Certainly not.
And
good for you.
We go clubbing up London quite often, Tommy, and we often end up with another guy back to the room with us. We like a threesome.
Well...
So how are you going to stop that?
Well, that should be illegal.
Well, why?
Why?
Because we're all consenting adults.
Yeah, but it still should be illegal, shouldn't it? Or you should need a licence for it or something.
You're jealous, like everyone's saying.
Not the least bit jealous. I don't even want to think of other men if I'm feeling romantic. Never mind about have one padding around in the bedroom, for goodness sake.
You'd probably consider another woman, Tommy.
I certainly would.
Well, there you go, then.
What do you mean, there you go? It's a totally different thing. Well, it's not a there you go, then.
It's only 3 people in a room.
No, it isn't. It's 2 men and a woman, and that's wrong.
Well, if we brought a woman back with us, it would be 2 women and me.
Nothing wrong with that.
Well, then you're not going to, the whole thing is we're still having sex in a room with people next door.
But you've got the wrong people there.
No, my wife thoroughly enjoys another guy joining us, and so do I.
Well, exactly, that's what's wrong. It just goes against the grain.
Well, you're just being biased now. That's being, like, homophobic.
I'm listening to my instincts. You don't get
You've been beaten, Tommy, because you can't stop me booking a room. If you're saying you're going to let married people book a room.
I certainly wouldn't let you do what you do in a hotel room if I was the manager.
We don't advertise it to everybody, and you can have quieter sex if you want. And anyway, the
Right, so you got to smuggle these people in and out of your hotel room, have
No,
you?
we don't smuggle them. We just walk in, the three of us, come back from clubbing. They don't know how many people are staying at a hotel. They don't know everyone's faces.
Oh, right, so you book a double room, the three of you.
Well, not always the three of us. It depends if you get lucky or not.
Yes, but when there are three of you, the three of you book a double room.
We book a double room, the two of us, and then if we find someone when we're out clubbing, someone that we like and we get on with, and we're all agreeing to it, we all go back together.
Well, you're lying. You're being deceitful. You can see that.
No, it's just inviting a friend back.
You haven't booked a treble.
Well, we're only in one double bed.
But you haven't booked a treble.
Oh, well, it's more cosier.
There's three people and you're only paying for two.
Oh, you're just trying to get out of this, Tommy.
No, I'm sorry. British Rail wouldn't say that, would they? You wouldn't try that on the trains. You wouldn't smuggle somebody in and stick them on the luggage rack, would you?
I mean, we ordered, like, champagne, right, and we had the guy come up with an extra glass. We didn't hide in the room. He just brought the glasses in. He didn't say anything.
No, that's just blokes trying to show that they're blokey. That's all that is. That's just a social comment.
But they would have known there's only two people supposed to be in the room if they looked on their records and nothing was said. The guy left the next day, next morning.
But what you're conjuring here is this male device whereby we all like to pretend that we're a bit Jack the Laddish ourselves, and if we're to appear...
Not really. I'm just trying to say that, you can't stop people, like, having fun in rooms, can you, in hotels?
No, I'm suggesting that we heighten your fun.
All right.
By making it illegal.
Oh, no. I don't want it to be illegal. I don't want to sneak around.
Yeah, well, you do.
But it's fun anyway, finding somebody uptown, you know what I mean? It's, like, exciting enough as it is.
Exactly.
We don't need that side of it to be heightened even more, like smuggling our partner back into the room, do we?
But the fact that it is socially illicit, all right, it is part of the joy for you, isn't it?
Oh, I suppose I could agree a little bit with you.
Okay, thank you for that. No, go away. I've got to squeeze in... Steve, thank you for your call, all three of you. Got to squeeze in Papa, who's called from Liverpool. Papa, and you're on Talk Radio.
Hello, Tommy.
Papa.
To extend your logic on your silly idea about the noise pollution in hotels, why not have designated soundproof sex rooms in all hotels? Because you wouldn't be able to wear the rampant orgies of desolate young people.
Well, I think it's a marvellous idea.
You do?
I really do, and I think that that these rooms should be available for all sorts of people. So many people have their television. I mean, when was the last time you stayed in a hotel?
About 3 months ago.
Yeah, and you can hear people's televisions, can't you?
Yeah, you can.
You can hear the cleaning trolleys coming along at 8:15 in the morning, and you did have a bit of a late night.
I mean, that's the thing I hate about hotels is the maids coming in when you're unavailable, so to speak.
Yeah, it depends on what you're doing when they come in, but don't they? Don't they just do that?
Yeah, they do come in at an inconvenient time, and it's like every day.
And they are unshockable.
Morning, and you're in the shower or something like that.
Well, it's just the fact that the bathroom door is right by the door, isn't it, always? And there you are, and it's early morning, and you're going about your business.
Well, you see, the hotel I was staying in, it had two entrances, one by the shower and one by the kitchen. And you could never guess which ones you were coming in. So you just have to, improvise.
Improvise. Papin, thank you very much indeed for your call. Nice to talk to you. Free call 0500 10 53 89. In the second hour of the programme, we turn our attention to, well, you've got one, I'm sure, in your neck of the woods. The neighbourhood watch. Do you honestly believe that burglars hit that sign saying this is a neighbourhood watch area and think to themselves, oh no, let's go home, let's go somewhere else. We dare not tread in there. I don't think so. Maybe the time has come to tool up the neighbourhood watch. Should we not arm your neighbourhood watch? The stuff you've got in your garden shed under the Geneva Convention would be illegal on the field of battle. I'm Tommy Boyd. This is Talk Radio. There's a good argument for listening.
This is definitely not Bob putting a funny voice on. Click like and subscribe to the Tommy Boyd Shrine YouTube channel, and we may get more Bob Staunton. Now, if you'll excuse me, I am going to stick laxatives in Tommy Boyd's coffee. If he won't call it quits, I'll make him strain with the squits.